Mask Gang. We episode 13. Man. We finna talk about the last week of pro wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. Let's get right into it. We ain't gonna waste more time. Let's get right into it.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I got this you can't buy. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie.
All right, man. Now I know that I done said it was Logan Paul, Jake Paul, Chris Paul, RuPaul, whatever Paul y'all want to say it is, but man, I'm starting to think it's y'all. I'm starting to think it's Grayson Waller, man. Not in the sense that I think he's going to be the final reveal where he's the mastermind behind the entire plot. But I do think I'm coming around to the idea that Grayson Waller is actually the one stunt doubling for Seth Rollins. Now, let me get this right off my chest, right off bat. That shit makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. Let me get this straight. What you're telling me is that Seth Rollins got the shit beat out of him by the Vision, but he has to wear a mask to exact his revenge. It just doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. Why would he need to hide his face? We all know that he won his get back. We all know that. So why is he hiding his face? And the conventional thought is that he's not medically cleared or he's not healthy enough to actually do these attacks. So a guy like Grayson Waller is in there and he's doing the attacks on his behalf. Now, is there a scenario where it's actually Grayson Waller and then Seth is going to come back, he's going to form his own group, and Grayson Waller is going to be a part of the group? Let me tell you, man, if that's the case, then this is going to be one of the best and quickest come-ups in wrestling history. The guy was the New Day's bag boy, their lackey, their groupie. And now all of a sudden, he just injects himself into a main event storyline between Seth Rollins and the Vision. It just don't make sense. It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense to me. So that's why I stuck with the whole Logan Paul theme of things. Logan Paul has way more incentive to be the masked man. Now bear with me. I understand that he got curb stuff on Monday. And trust me, at this point, I'm done trying to figure this shit out. I'm done trying to figure it out because I'm in wait and see mode, because at this point, I just look like I'm on here talking out my ass and don't actually got a clue about what the hell's going on. That's what it looks like here. But Logan Paul has the incentive. He got the shit beat out of him by the Vision. He joined them. It was his idea for Braun to win the Royal Rumble. Then Braun gets stumped. But then where it starts to veer off the path a little bit is Austin Theory gets stumped. Then Logan himself gets stumped. So then I'm like, okay, maybe they're going with the Jake Paul route. But then people pointed out to me, well, Jake Paul was in another country watching this girl in the Olympics. So could Logan Paul still be involved? Yes. This could be a whole plot with Seth, Grayson Waller, Logan Paul, whoever. That could all be something that's coming to fruition. But based on what I've seen and based on the events as they unfolded, and just look at this picture right here. Look at it. That shit-eating grin. Everybody knows it. It's Grayson Waller. At the very least, it was Grayson Waller who curb stomped Logan Paul on Monday, because that shit-eating grin can't be replicated anywhere. So I don't know where they're going with it. I sure hope to God that at the end of the road is something that makes sense. If Grayson Waller pulls off the mask and says, it was me all along, that'll be dumb. If it's Seth saying, it was me all along, that'll be dumb. Why are you hiding your face just in order to get your revenge? We all know you want your revenge. So yeah, man, that doesn't make a ton of sense, but I'm done trying to guess. I'm done making videos saying it's Logan Paul. So I'm just like the rest of y'all at this point. I'm trying to see. I'm hoping that WWE doesn't do what they always do and have some shitty payoff at the end where we're all underwhelmed, which in my personal opinion, that'll be exactly what Seth Rollins turning out to be the masked man would be. I think that would be a horrible, very anticlimactic turn of events. So there you have it. Another thing that just magically appeared starting on Monday Night Raw is this mystery box that's not supposed to be opened until February 28th, which, if you don't know, is the date of the Elimination Chamber. What could it be? Could inside that box actually be the payoff to the Masked Man storyline? I think it's very, I don't know about the idea of having two big mysteries going on at the same time. We're trying to figure out who the Masked Man is. Now we're trying to figure out who the hell is in the box. I don't know. I have no clue who is in this box. Delivered do not open until February 28th. Now, if we applied non-wrestling, real-life logic to it, I would look and I'll be like, I'm the general manager. I'm opening the fucking box anyway because it's backstage of my show. For all I know, it could be an explosive. I mean, that's just the common real-life logic to it. But this is professional wrestling, and we know logic just flies out of the fucking window when we're talking about professional wrestling. So here we are, big ass box, just sitting backstage. Everybody's gathering around, trying to figure out exactly what's in this box. So do you want me to tell you exactly what I think could be in that box? Y2J, Chris Jericho. Now, once again, using the logic of common sense, do we think there's a grown-ass man just sitting, waiting in the box? Box is getting shifted from Raw to SmackDown, from SmackDown to Raw, from Raw to SmackDown, and this guy's just sitting, waiting, chilling in his box, waiting for the big opening and the big reveal all the way at the Elimination Chamber. The big question here's the big question. How exactly is this going to happen? Are we going to have the lights go out and this box is just sitting in the ring with the spotlight shining down? Boom, some type of cheesy explosion. The box drop. Dun, 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 dun. But I could be wrong, man. Honestly, I thought Jericho was going to appear at the Royal Rumble, and I was wrong about that. So I ain't trying to get too many negative points here and guessing shit incorrectly too much, but I don't know, man. If I had to take a guess, Chris Jericho's in the box. If I were to go by the standard of WWE letting me down when I think there's a big surprise to be had, I would think that maybe he's not in the box. Maybe it's something extremely dumb in the box. But even if it is Chris Jericho, just to start this build up to this mystery box a couple weeks ago, just to reveal it at Elimination Chamber, that's not usually how we do Chris Jericho returns. Usually it's weeks of cryptic messages that lead to the return of Jericho. So I don't know, man. This could just be a red herring. This could be just something that WWE all of a sudden did, or maybe it was some contractual thing that they wanted to start a while ago, but wasn't able to start it until last week. But we're going to see. And if he does pop out of this box, what is he going to do? Is this going to be some situation where he somehow ends up as a participant in the Elimination Chamber? I mean, I can't remember what it is. I can't remember if it's the Elimination Chamber or the Money in the Bank that he said he invented. I don't know. But if it was the Elimination Chamber, it will make a ton of sense that he's in a box and he somehow weasels his way into the match. But once again, I go back to it. Would not be surprised if Chris Jericho is not in the box at all. Would not be surprised if it's something stupid and anticlimactic, because historically, whenever I think WWE is going to come up with some massive surprise, it always ends up letting me down. You guys know I'm right. That's what they always seem to do. At this point, Sami Zayn is losing his shit. He's losing his shit. He's slapping around water bottles. He's pissed off. He's a victim of his own fucking mistakes. He's a victim of his own mistakes. He's the one who decided to just haluva kick Drew McIntyre instead of taking advantage and winning the match. And what did Cody do? Cody hit him with the crossroads. So now Sammy's backstage in his fourth straight week of skulking, walking around looking sad, and now he's mad, telling Cody that he should be ashamed of himself. And Cody was right to check him. Cody was right to check him. You should be ashamed of yourself that you can't get the job done. So what does Sami do? After Sami talks shit to Cody, saying that how he should be ashamed of himself, and typical Sami Zayn, aka Mick Foley Jr. style, Sami Zayn runs back up to Cody and he says, "Hey man, yeah, I'm sorry for how I treated you, and yeah, man, that wasn't right, man." And blah 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 blah. We know that you're turning heel. And then what happens at the perfect time? Can you smell it? Can you smell it? I smell lemon pepper steppers. Trick Williams, Trick Willie walks up and he reminds Sami once again, you can't get the job done. You can't get the job done. So what are we going to do? This is definitely going to be a heel turn. It's going to be a double turn, just like I predicted in last week's show. It's going to be a double turn. Trick Williams' fame and how fast he's becoming famous is changing the tides. It's making a shift in the entire company. In the entire company, Trick is now getting to the point where he's basically a face. By accident, everybody's chanting "whoop that Trick." Randy Orton, in a match that had nothing to do with Trick Williams to a degree, said "whoop that Trick," and then he hit him with the DDT off of the apron. Trick Williams is white hot right now. And it seems like we're going to have a case of a double turn where Sami somehow cost Trick Williams, and that's going to have the fans turning on Sami and supporting Trick Williams even more. Did you hear those fans booing Sami Zayn when he ran back up to Cody and started apologizing to him? The fans are tired of the sappy bullshit. They're tired of Sappy Sami. That's his new name. Sappy Sami. Just being a sap. Like being naive, cuck behavior, just sitting there, haluva kicking enemies of other people and thinking that what was Cody supposed to do last week? What was he supposed to do? You haluva kick Drew McIntyre. Cody's supposed to say, "All right, man, come on, Sami. Thanks for that. Come on, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up." What did you want him to do? Your back was right there. He wants to go to WrestleMania. He wants to go to the Elimination Chamber. So he hits you with a crossroads. 1, 2, 3, you're done. But you're a sap. So instead of just saying, you got one, you're backstage, you're skulking, you're walking around with your plain white t-shirt. I don't know, they must be preparing your heel merch. You're walking around your plain white t-shirt like you're John Moxley, and you're mad because you made a mistake. And then Trick been rightful. Everything Trick has said about you, I don't know if your breath smells like 10 pounds of bounce that ass or not, but everything else Trick has said about you has been right. You can't get the job done and you always want another chance. So what can you say? But I'm interested to see where this Sami Zayn heel turn ultimately ends up. Drew. At it again in everybody's fucking business. Drew McIntyre is beefing. He's having wars on multiple fronts. He was beefing with Cody. Then he was beefing with Jacob. Now all of a sudden, unprompted, he's attacking Randy Orton. He literally has no reason to do that. Cost Randy Orton a match in the main event against Aleister Black, which for Aleister Black, that's good. Aleister Black needed that dub. But Drew McIntyre, I said this about Solo last week. I said Solo is involved in so much shit that he's almost the backbone of SmackDown. I can say the same thing about Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is damn near the backbone of SmackDown. Damn near. Because you see, Drew McIntyre is beefing with everybody. He's talking his shit from the luxury suite. He's talking his shit from backstage. He's talking his shit in the ring. Now, ultimately, it's going to cost him. Why anybody would choose to piss off Randy Orton and pick a fight with Randy Orton is beyond me. I have no clue why anybody would fucking do that. But now you got multiple targets on your back. So I guess I'm really here to say that I don't necessarily know what Drew McIntyre's end game is. Like, Was he trying to just make like that match had no ramifications that were involved in Elimination Chamber outside of less he just wanted to hurt Randy Orton. That's the only thing I could think of. But now he done pissed off multiple people. And my question is this: is this going to cause him to somehow lose that title going into WrestleMania? Because again, now Drew is starting to change my mind a little bit. I know I said last week that it would be a big letdown if he went into WrestleMania as the champion, but I'm starting to come around to that. I'm starting to even wonder if we might see a triple threat or fatal four-way at WrestleMania because he's beefing with 3 people. Now, how they're going to make that make sense, I don't know. Unless somehow, some way, Drew McIntyre interrupts the Elimination Chamber match and fucks with Cody, Randy, Jacob. Is Jacob even in the Elimination Chamber? I don't think he is. No, he's not. I don't think Jacob's in the match. But they need to figure some shit out because there's too much beef going around right now involving Drew McIntyre for them to just sweep it under the rug going into WrestleMania. It's going to have to come to a head. It's going to have to come to a conclusion. And I wondered if they're going to do a triple threat fatal four-way. And if they're going to do that, how are they going to set that up? Because if they do that, then it's almost going to make it irrelevant that the winner of the Elimination Chamber gets to fight Drew McIntyre. So I want to see how they're going to do it. But it's interesting. I just hope that it doesn't end up being stupid. All right, this week, WWE, our star of the week is Trick Williams, Lemon Pepper Steppers himself. Trick Williams beat the shit out of both his homeboy, Carmelo Hayes, and Damian Priest, earning his way to the Elimination Chamber. And he hit Damian Priest with 2 trick shots. Not 1, but 2. Pinned them 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring. The boy just can't stop losing. He is on a rocket ship trajectory to the top, and he beat Damian Priest. I think this is probably the second week, not in a row, but this is the second week recently that he's beaten Damian Priest. So the boy ain't no punk. The boy is backing up all the shit he's talking, and he's going to the Elimination Chamber. Tricky 2 times.
I'm so tired. What am I gonna do?
Quick shout out to our sponsor, W Energy. If you need focus without the sugar crash, this is that clean energy option. No jitters, no weird aftertaste. I use it when I'm ending or recording late. If you want to try it, use my code MFGDEEZ. That's MFGDEEZ at the checkout. Appreciate W for supporting the show. Now let's get back to this wrestling content.
AEW, bro. Last week, I said about Swerve, he wanted the cleaner, his ass got the cleaner. Well, guess what? Swerve washed the fucking cleaner. Oh my goodness. Don't get me, first of all, Aubrey Edwards, RIP, because he knocked her ass out. I mean, ain't no other way to look at it. She got hit with the V trigger because he put her ass right in the way. And that got the fans booing him a little bit. And then some way, somehow, he ended up beating the living dog shit out of Kenny Omega. Now, Kenny Omega, he was on his Kenny Omega shit. The man was getting the dog shit beat out of him, and he still put up a fight. Swerve wasn't having it, though. Swerve had to put his ass all the way down. He fucked Kenny up so bad, bro. I was joking about that shit since I seen it. I was joking about that shit. Oh, man, you got your ass whooped like Kenny Omega. Like, that, I was saying that shit all week, man. Like, it's a damn shame the way Swerve Strickland beat that boy down. He beat the shit out of him. Then he had him hanging by his chain. Then he put him through the table with that devastating ass move. I don't know what that shit called. Reverse tombstone. I don't know what that shit called. But he put his ass through the table. You can tell me what that move called in the comments. But, yeah, man. Kenny got his ass beat, man. Y'all know, if y'all pay attention to the show, y'all know Kenny is one of my favorite wrestlers. But I can't sit here in front. I can't sit here and lie, man. He beat the dog shit out of Kenny, man. Kenny should have never opened up his mouth and said that Swerve wasn't the most dangerous man in AEW. He shouldn't have did it. He shouldn't have did it. He should have just kept that comment to himself if that's what he was thinking. Because he showed him. He showed Kenny that, yeah, I'm the most dangerous motherfucker around here. You see that look on his face, bro? You see the way he looking at Kenny? Kenny should have knew, man. He should have knew right then and there, but he probably didn't know because I think by then he was knocked the fuck out. And poor Aubrey Edwards. Oh man, she had to take that L. Swerve was hell bent on beating the shit out of Kenny Omega. Then what Swerve said after he did it? He said, it was therapeutic. He was in therapy beating the shit out of Kenny Omega. It was therapeutic for him. He needed that. He needed that on Kenny. And I'm trying to figure out now, storyline wise, I don't really get why he hates Kenny so much. I don't get it, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Poor Kenny Omega, man. Kenny was going through it, bro. Like, ain't really much too else to say about it. It was a great match. Excellent match. I always say this. If it's one thing you can't criticize AEW for, is their matches. Their matches are almost always on point. It's the booking and the storyline that everybody has a problem with. But the matches, chef's kiss. But yeah, man, Kenny probably laid up somewhere. They definitely should have Kenny sit back for a little bit. Because if he show up on next week, it's gonna undersell the ass whooping. But yeah, man. Swerve. And people are like, oh, why Swerve? Why? I mean, can we really even? I'm pretty sure they're gonna say he turned heel, but did he really turn heel? I guess pulling Aubrey Edwards in the way is probably the point of heel turn. But the part where he beat the shit out of Kenny is just Swerve being Swerve. That's what Swerve does. He beats the shit out of people. Ain't no different from Swerve and Randy Orton type shit. Like, so I don't know, man. We'll see where they go with it. But yeah, if people was doubting whether or not Swerve was still dangerous, they know how. They know now because he cleaned the cleaner. R.I.P. Kenny. R.I.P. Aubrey Edwards. If there's one thing I can agree with, is that it's time for this MJF Hangman Page shit to end. It got to end. But here's where there's a wrinkle thrown into this whole thing. I don't necessarily understand the path we're taking here with Hangman saying that if he loses, that he will not challenge for the AEW title again. I kind of don't get that. The only other time that I've heard that is when Cody Rhodes said it. And to me, that was a huge mistake. So now we're in a situation where if Hangman loses this match, he can't challenge for the title again. Even if MJF loses it, because if I'm not mistaken, he didn't say that he can't challenge MJF for the title ever again. They didn't make that specification. He said he won't challenge for the AEW title anymore. So now, either A, it's a lock that he's about to beat MJF for that title, or B, they've booked themselves into a corner yet again where Hangman is never going to be able to challenge for the title. I mean, AEW has a ton of titles that he could challenge for. They have a ton of them, but none of them are the AEW title. It is, I would go as far as to say, and this might be controversial, it's probably the second most important title in professional wrestling. I mean that. I believe that title is more valuable than the world heavyweight title in WWE. By no means is it more relevant than the WWE title. And the biggest, most hardcore AEW fan might sit there and try to argue that, but it's not. That's just not the case. But I do think that it's a huge mistake making that stipulation that he can't challenge for the title again. And I'm hoping that on this upcoming week's Dynamite, that is corrected to you can't challenge MJF for the AEW title again. Because not being able to challenge for that title again, it just makes everything irrelevant. That means that if there's some type of match where the winner gets a shot at the title, he can't be in it. if there's some type of storyline that would lead him to challenge it for the title, he can't be in it. Yeah, it's wrestling. They could at any given time just go back on their word. They could do that at any given time, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think that would be a huge mistake. So I don't know why they put that stipulation in there. They should have said that it was it'll be the last time he could challenge MJF for the title, and they should have booked it as this is the last match between them. Even if they go back on that like down the road, they should at least put that in there. But yeah, man, I am not on board with that stipulation. I think it's dumb. He's one of their biggest stars. Why create a scenario where one, it almost seems like a foregone conclusion that he's going to beat MJF, or why two, if he doesn't beat MJF, now you can't have him in the main event title picture. That just doesn't make sense to me, because I also don't think it's time for MJF to lose that title. So we'll see, man. Let's see if they can find some way out of this. Yet again, bad booking. We'll see. We'll find out. AEW Star of the Week. Come on, man. Who the else hell can it be other than Swerve Strickland? Who could it be? Beat the living shit out of Kenny Omega. Got great heel heat by forcing Kenny Omega to V-trigger Aubrey Edwards. It got to be Swerve. Look at this shot of Swerve. Look at him. He needed this. He needed it. That's what he was saying. Therapeutic. Therapy. Everybody should have therapy. And on Dynamite, Swerve had his therapy at the expense of Kenny, the cleaner. Omega and Swerve cleaned his ass. Not like that, but you get what I'm saying. AEW Star of the Week, Swerve Strickland, the most dangerous man in AEW. TNA, where are we going to go from here? We are going to talk about that guitar casket match. We're going to talk about it. Very innovative. You know, I like the guitar casket match design. I like it. It's very unique, very creative. Mustafa Ali, Elijah went at it, multiple guitar shots. Everybody got hit with a damn guitar, okay? It was just pure chaos. Good main event over on TNA. Can't really complain about it one bit. Elijah was able to get the win there. I think it was a great match. And I feel like TNA needs more matches like this. TNA should strive to be a version of NXT Black and Gold. They should strive to be that. Just be complete and utter chaos on a week-to-week basis. And I'm going to get a little bit more in a second into TNA as a whole and where they should be going as far as like a company and what they should be doing. But for this match specifically, I think it was a great way to end TNA Impact. Elijah put him through a door on the casket, then put him in the casket. He had to fight over all kind of hijinks, all kind of bullshit that Ali and his crew was putting him through. He had to do whatever he had to do to get that dub, and he went out there and he did the damn thing. Man, Elijah in TNA is probably leaps and bounds better than Elias. Now, I do feel like Elias had more fanfare because Elias was on a bigger platform, but he's just a completely different type of beast in TNA. He hit a jumping tombstone. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I don't know if it was not the drift away. So I mean, I'm telling you, look, man, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm trying to get back into TNA. Look, this is a whole new world for me. I've never been a TNA guy, but I'm trying to get into it. So this match was very good to me. A lot of chaos. I loved it. Elijah in the main event. I mean, we got to see how that goes, man. Like I said, I'm gonna get more into it in a second. But yeah, this is a good match. Chaotic, cool casket. You can't go wrong with a casket match, man. If it's two matches that I think you can't really go wrong with, that I'll always mark out for, it's a damn casket match and the really don't ever see it ever in recent memory, a buried alive match. Those are the two matches that you always draw me in. So I was going to mark out for this one regardless, but it was the TNA main event. So that's what I was going to talk about this week for TNA. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know my feelings on it. I think Leon Slater is the biggest star in TNA. Yes, bigger than Mike Santana. I even think he went to Roman Reigns' dentist because I could have sworn that Leon Slater had a gap. Now all of a sudden, his teeth look like Roman Reigns' teeth. So I think that's something he went to get to because he's getting ready to be WWE-ified, even though he should stay in TNA and they should build that entire company around him. You guys know where I'm at with what I think TNA should do. And if you haven't seen prior episodes, I'll tell you right now what TNA should do. TNA, when WWE has its post-WrestleMania cuts, TNA should go to WWE ahead of time. WWE should tell TNA, hey, these are the people who are on the bubble. These are the people that we're thinking about releasing. TNA should get WWE to waive the 90-day no-compete clause and have them go straight to TNA right after they get cut from WWE, if that's what they choose to do. Maybe they want to go to the Indies. Maybe they want to try to take a shot and see if they can get into AEW. But TNA should get the first crack at them. TNA should get early negotiations with them. And then WWE should just tell them, like, AEW is not our partner. If you want to go to TNA, if you want to sign a contract with TNA after we release you, you will not have a 90-day no complete clause. You can go right over into TNA and you could wrestle for those guys. But if you're not going to sign with TNA, you will have to honor the 90-day no complete clause. Simple as that. But back to Leon Slater, he's the star they should build around, man. He has new interest music. He's excellent in the ring, and he's working on his mic skills. It takes some getting used to. Because I'll be honest, having a British champion, I gotta get used to that shit, man. I gotta get used to it. But he got a lot. He's a lot like Javon Evans. But for some reason, I feel like in a lot of ways, he has more ceiling than Javon Evans. He has more range. Like, I feel like Javon Evans, nah, don't worry, I ain't finna pull out Kevin Nash and call him Bojangles and all that shit. But I feel like Leon Slater, his character shows more maturity than Javon Evans, where if Leon Slater was involved for the main championship, I would take that more serious. I would take him as a more credible threat than I do Javon Evans. Because Javon Evans just, I don't know, man, he just comes off as more of a kid to me. So, I mean, that's not to say that I don't think he has a high ceiling too. He just has a different ceiling than Leon Slater. And I think that's why WWE's trying to bring him in too. But they shouldn't. They should leave him alone, leave him right in TNA and let that company build around him. But yeah, man, the sky's the limit for this dude. Soon as he appeared on the screen, I knew I had to lock in and see what he was doing. And that's how you know you got a star on your hands, X Division champion. He does absolutely 100% need to take that title off of Mike Santana. Like, with all due respect to Mike Santana, I find him as a very, very boring, generic champion. I'm sorry. That's just how I see it. I don't know. And I feel like he had more edge to him when he was in the tag team. So we got to see where they go with that. But they definitely need to strap the rocket to Leon Slater's back. Don't have him bullshitting around with Eric Young. Eric Young wants a shot at the X Division title. Fine. He doesn't need a feud with Eric Young. He needs to be feuding with Mike Santana. He needs to be taking that title from Mike Santana. That's just where I'm at with that, man. But yeah, man, that boy got a future. His future is bright. And I'm hoping to God that TNA does not let WWE take him away like they did with Joe Hendry. They need to not let that happen. Joe Hendry, Jordan Grace, wrestlers like that, they need to just lock Leon Slater in for the long haul, and they need to be adding to their talent depth for their company, because I'm sorry, if Mike Santana is your champion, then you're seriously lacking in star power on that show. Once again, that's not a knock on Mike Santana. I just don't think that that's the right role for him to be like the champion of your company. It's just not. Same thing with Nick Namath, but at least Nick Namath has former WWE World Champion on his resume, so you could at least get by with that. But Mike Santana, I'm not buying into it, man. He's not a credible champion to me of a company that you want to like hopefully contend to be the second best company. I just don't see it, man. But yeah, Leon Slater, he has a chance to be that guy. Our TNA star of the week, who else can it be? Who else can it be but Elijah? That's all it could be. Won a damn guitar casket match. That was damn near the most memorable thing on TNA. I honestly can't sit here and tell you anything else relevant that I remember from this week TNA. And I watched the show, but I do remember that. And it's not just because it was the last thing that happened on the show, but because it was the most relevant thing. Elijah won a very cool match. We'll see if that leads to anything, but he is definitely our TNA star of the week, Elijah. All right, guys, that's it. It's a wrap. Thank you for watching episode 13 of the Crimson Mask Show. It'll really help us out the algorithm if you like this video. If you subscribe to this video, subscribe to this channel, we'll like that even more. And while you're at it, I might be asking for a lot, but can you go subscribe to our other channel, Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling, because we're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. I will check you guys out next time. I'm MFGDs. This is the Crimson Mask Show, and we're out of here.